For the live stream, I'm going to do a recording as a backup, and you're live.
Oh God, do we have a quorum?
No,
Okay,
you're not
yeah.
going to.
We're nowhere
Okay.
near quorum.
All right.
yet.
Hi everybody. Welcome to the, oh wait, let me put my camera on, sorry. Okay.
It doesn't really matter, Hazel, since you don't have a quorum. Just pointing that out.
I know, but still.
Yeah.
I don't want
Each his own.
anybody. So this is the Housing Committee meeting, Thursday, February 1st, 2024. Unfortunately, we don't have a quorum, so we really don't have to have a meeting, but there are a couple of things that I wanted to bring up. My name is Hazel Mura. I am the chair of the Housing Committee. Can everybody just introduce themselves real quick?
Rich Reynoso, co-chair. Malcolm Gray, committee member.
Stacey and Delian, committee member.
Christine Culpepper, committee member.
Juanita Ramsey, committee member.
Okay. All right, thank you for that. So the City of Yes, the housing opportunity is going to be coming up. I know that we're still talking about the economic development, and I think that's being voted on fairly soon. But there are some forums that are coming up. One just passed that was on January 30th on the universal affordability. I think that's what it was. And February 27th, there's a forum on diverse housing types. March 27th, there is the missing middle housing. And on April 17th is the proposal. So I know that we had taken the role with the economic development before the committee, the City of Yes committee was formed, which really should have gone to economic development, but somehow we ended up with it. And we did have a public hearing on it, and we did have several presentations. So I know that the City of Yes committee is working on it. I apologize for not being at the last meeting. I had an incident and I really hurt myself, and I'm trying to recover as best that I can. And I apologize for not being at the office, but I went to work today. It was just too much for me. So please bear with me for the next couple of weeks, because I might be in and out of commission. But the City of the City of Yes housing opportunity is something that this committee should also be involved in, and we should be cooperating with the new City of Yes committee. And I believe that we should have a hearing, a public hearing on it. I'm not sure. I think it might be voted on in May, since the last forum will be April 17th. So we do have some time to get more information. We did get a email from Toon that he is leaving city planning, which breaks my heart, because we've worked with him for many years, and he was always the one person that I could understand when he was talking about issues, because sometimes people just, use lingo that, just goes over my head sometimes, and a lot of people feel that way. And we're really going to miss him. So, but I hope that the person that replaces him is just as straightforward and to the point, and works with us in the same manner that Toon did. So I want to wish him well, whatever his endeavors are. Does anybody have any questions so far?
I don't have a question, Hazel. I just want to make a comment for everybody who's online or in person. I shared a link to a website on the City of Yes for the meetings that are being planned. The schedule is there, January 30th, February 27th, etc. And there's also links to meetings that were recorded. And if you missed any of the meetings, the public meetings that were had, you can watch and then sort of catch up. And like Hazel said, a lot of the language that is used gets confusing. There's so many different, parts to the, proposals that they're making, that it's good to watch it, bits at a time, not try to take on the whole thing in one session, but, kind of pace yourself. And so, yeah, that's about it for now.
Thank you so much, Christine, for that. I was only, I had the dates, but you do have to register for the forum. So if you do go on the link, you'll be able to do that. So thanks, Christine. I appreciate that. And you're right. If you have missed any of the meetings, you can always catch up on there. And it is important for us to know exactly what's going on. I don't know how much it's going to affect our community, but I don't know if there's any spaces left, because there's been so much building going on. But we want to make sure that we are as educated as possible, so that when the time comes, we know what we're talking about. So I'm just I'm doing the minutes while we're talking. Anybody else?
When is Tion leaving? Do you know? Did he leave already?
Yeah, I think today was his last day.
Okay. Got him.
Yeah. But we'll do the best that we can with whoever replaces him. I'm sure they'll be just as informative as he was.
Yeah, as soon as we get introduced to the new person, we should try to put it on the calendar, the public hearing, just so we have enough time. Because I think for the economic opportunity, it was a little rushed for us. We didn't have enough time. And even though they gave us an extension, I think we still kind of were a little rushed. So we do have until May, so that's good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The more we know about it, the better prepared we are. I know that the committee itself is probably going to jump on this too, right, Malcolm?
Yeah, we are.
Okay, yeah. So so we can all work together to get this thing done.
I think
So
that,
we can.
I'm sorry, Hazel. I think that one of the things that we had also discussed, and I don't know, Malcolm, now that we're all here in the City of Yes committee meeting, did we discuss doing visionary sessions with the community to, sort of map out what kinds of things they want to see coming to, the area in question?
I didn't present it formally to that committee, just because of my time constraints right now.
Mhm.
But I under the community development and budget priorities title, Serena and I did speak to Toon and to formulate it. Unfortunately, Toon is leaving, so and he was our contact for that. But we have time. So we will, at the next committee, city
Yep.
council committee meeting, we'll bring it there to make it an official thing, and then we'll work with whoever in the BP's office, because there's contact there, to get more of a person who's able to lead us through those projects, the initiatives of the housing, and to allow the community to weigh in through that visionary process. We could do it in April, we could do it in May. It just depends on getting the locking down the venue and locking down the resources to go about it.
Yeah, and I think that Hazel, we should be instrumental in helping the city of Yes locking down, a venue. Since we've had problems with the venues already with our community board meetings, locking down, this is going to be really important.
Yeah, okay. Well, we have two options. You can always ask Einstein, and we always have Maestros. The reason why I like those two places is because there's parking. But if you guys can think of any other venue that we might use, I will be more than happy to reach out. We do need a date so that we can let them know what date we're looking at.
Yeah, and then the only other roadblock would be resources. So like I don't know if we want to get like little how do you call it, like the
Whiteboards?
not the whiteboards, no, like everybody gets their own little
Poster board.
yeah, like little poster boards. Those they're very cheap actually. Yeah, maybe like a little poster board, like like if you go to a paint and sip event, and something like that, and I can just like draw out, or even we could make it simple, get a big paper. I guess I forget what it's called. And have people just write what they'd like to see in the community, what this community means to them, things like that. We could go through that stuff.
Yeah, I think it's also really cool. Like if you look at the website to the City of Yes, the housing opportunity, don't go into other areas because economic has already been voted on, correct? That's a non-issue for us. So
That's
it
it.
is housing opportunities, and then you have things like universal affordability, the preference UAPs, the Office of the Residential Conversions, ADUs, all kinds of things that I think that we should definitely focus on independently and have ideas put forward about each one of those things.
Agreed. I mean, it should move faster because I believe the city of West Community adopted a model in which they're meeting bi-weekly
Yeah.
now.
They try to,
So that's the things I believe things on their end move a lot faster than what we see normally.
Okay,
Well,
I know that.
I also think that we should try to do some outreach and get as much information out there to Community Board 11, not just the people who always show up, but to the people who may not always know what's happening. So try to do some outreach to get a bigger turnout so that people later aren't saying, "Oh, we didn't know."
Yeah, that's a good idea. We could do some flyering and put it all over social media. I was going to say, when we do stuff like that at my office, we have these big Post-its that you just tape to the wall. I don't know how practical that is in any of our venues, but we can always do something like that too.
Well, they
It's
always
practical.
have those sort of like the little stands for, what are those called? The easels or stuff.
Easel.
Oh, yeah, we could do that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we should also have people from either the not the economic, City of Yes committee and the housing committee. Even rezoning should be involved heavily in this, the
Mhm.
zoning committee, sort of facilitate discussions in those groups.
Agreed.
yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, that sounds good. That's old school organizing.
For the links that Christine just posted, if we can send that, Jeremy or Bernadette, because Bernadette sent it to us, but if we can send it to the full board so they know as well right away, like tomorrow or like ASAP, that way they have the links and they can register. Because it's good to do this stuff in tandem with the full board. Yeah, that way they get up to speed as well. Agreed. Even the Facebook group or wherever we do communications.
But I think another issue here is that this stuff is going to take a lot of work from us, time, effort. But I have, me personally, have an issue with a lot of the stuff that I'm seeing from some board members, in the way they're handling this, especially online, like the city of no, this and that. You know, if we're really putting a true effort in trying to educate ourselves on this matter and educate our community on this matter, you know, we really have to turn down the temperature a whole lot. And we really have to go to this, you know, unbiased, and not try to fray the sides, right? Because if that is what is going to happen, then there's no need for us to go the extra mile here. Like it should be a good, honest effort to really look at this policy and say, is this a good idea or not? Without the theatrics, to be honest with you. You know, and I think that's something that's been relayed to the board as a whole.
I 100% agree with you, Malcolm. I've seen those comments that, you know, people even, you know, on this committee have made that I think, you know, shouldn't be making until all the facts and the, you know, information is out.
Agreed. All right, anything else? All right, I'm gonna open it up to the gallery, just to see what, you know, people have to say.
Diana, raise your hand.
Diana?
Yes, a few things quickly. The abandoned construction site at Barker and Mace is no longer abandoned. Construction has resumed, and I think it's very similar to what was proposed before, with retail on the ground floor, 6 or 7 story rental apartments above on the corner of Barker and Mace. So that's good.
6 or 7 story.
Yeah. You know, up to the height of the height limit of the zoning area.
Okay.
And yes, 100% agree with toning down the discussion, especially on social media, especially on Facebook, especially in the community groups about the city of Yes. And I think that we should also, everyone, you know, think about addressing people's fears, because it seems like with all these proposals and new projects, people immediately think about, you know, how it's going to bring change. They don't want change, and they're afraid that they're not going to have control of the change, and that there's going to be change that's very detrimental to them. So if we could address that from the beginning, like acknowledge those concerns and think about them and evaluate whether they're real or not, I think that would be so helpful for the community.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assertion. You know, part of it too is that very rarely do we actually, I don't think this community, anything wrong with this community. Like I love this community, right? And I think very rarely do we allow the ideas from this community to be shown and to be elevated. And I think that when things are when the temperature is too high, the passion, you know, evaporates all the ideas that this community has. And I think that if we really allow a platform for ideas to flow from us, then we're able to get the policies and get the initiatives that we want here.
Yeah.
So I think that's very ideal, and strategically, that's the best thing for us to do.
Yeah, I think with the visionary board sessions, it's one of those things where if you care about the issues, you should be showing up to those things instead of just commenting on a picture on Facebook.
Right.
Because I was thinking just now, I was like, well, it's tough to police Facebook and the groups because people are going to talk.
Mhm.
But if you have something to say, then come to the vision boards and express why you're against it or for it, for
Yeah.
example. So I think now that we have a plan in terms of meeting up in person, connecting with the City of Yes committee, once we show the work, it'll be hard for the haters to hate.
Absolutely. And it starts with us too.
No, yeah, for sure.
You know?
Yeah. Like we shouldn't be going in there just being negative. We should have solutions.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I agree. I think you're on mute, Hazel.
Yeah, I realized that.
Yeah,
Thank you, Diana. Anybody else want to say anything?
So Michael logged on, Robert, and then there's Kay. Robert.
One
Go
thing
ahead,
you're going to
Robert.
have to remember is the residential uses and then the additional bonus heights. Manhattan Borough President Mark Levine today had a rally outside City Hall calling for 12-story buildings. And if you know your zoning, an R6 zoning can have a 12-story building with bonus heights that are given for certain things. So we have to be very careful. Also, we have to look at the infrastructure. What can the infrastructure handle? Because the original proposal of 6,000 apartments or units of housing by the Metro North stations is now up to 7,500. How much can the streets and the mass transit hold? That's the question we're going to have to look at. And what about the extra gas that's going to be needed? Well, new buildings won't be able to have gas stoves. They'll have to have electric stoves. Will we need more electricity, more wires hanging from the poles? And you have the new water tunnel on the north side of Pelham Parkway. So that will be coming down into the down Eastchester Road probably. So you're going to be looking at a lot of construction also in the streets. That's it.
I just want to respond to that. I'm sorry, my connection is a little off today, but that's what the studies were about, right? And when you're talking about all of that, has there been a study done yet? Is it available to the public? Those are the things that we should be looking at. If anybody's confused about zonings and R6 or M1s or M2s and what that all means, there is this thing called the ZOLA, right? It's a map, a zoning and land use map that you can use, right? Interactively, go to the neighborhood or even your street address, and you can see what is the zoning for where you live and the street across the street from you or around the block. It's really, information that's out there, really good information that's out there. If you simultaneously look at that, plus some of the new proposals that are coming out of the city of Yes, you can see where they are suggesting or proposing, zonings, revisions in the zoning. The zonings already exist for certain things in certain neighborhoods, and there's just a revision on it, right? So there's a lot of homework that needs to be done. And unfortunately, I don't think that we all have, the personal time to, do as much visionary sessions that I think would be required for everyone to be really well versed on all of these things. This is when everybody has to take some personal responsibility and look at these things themselves and, learn as much as they can for themselves. Thank you.
Yep.
I'm going to be providing a link for that map as well, so people can look at that at their.
Yeah, I was just thinking, like, I think we should probably, us and the City of Yes folks, we should be doing weekly digest to the whole board. Like, this is what this is what that means. These are the dates for this week. It's a little bit of work, but I mean, it doesn't cost us much effort to just forward information. Because again, we're all adults, and I know some folks sometimes don't read, not us in terms of the board and stuff in general. But I think if we try to disseminate as much information as possible, and when we do meet up, people should have read as much as they can. Because I agree with you, Christina. I guess a lot of people don't know the zonings, and it took half of our conversations for the economic opportunity zones was trying to decipher what meant what and where things were. So we not wasted, but we tried to get up to speed a lot on what things meant. And that ties into our new representative from DCP. When we do have the public hearing or they do come and talk to us, they can even come to our meeting sometime soon. They should probably do a little 101. Okay, this is what this means, and this is what this City of Yes housing is gonna be. And they could probably do it in 1 step, 2 steps, whatever, how many meetings they should take. I don't know.
You know what I like in CB12, they actually got this nonprofit that did a zoning workshop.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he broke down the different zonings and how they're used and all of that. So
I think that was a suggestion, correct me if I'm wrong, that we made in housing or in the land use committee, that we were going to be doing that as well, that we were going to be taking that on. I definitely think, and I know that Rich and Malcolm, you're both on the City of Yes committee, correct?
Yeah.
So that I think that we should agree that housing and land use need to take a very active role in this as well. They can't just be the City of Yes.
Yeah, no, I agree.
yeah, true.
The more hands on deck that we have, the better our chances of disseminating the information.
What I'll do is that I'll get the contact for the nonprofit.
That would be great, yeah.
And you could begin talking to them and see if we could do a workshop.
Because if we do get a hold of them and they could present at the end of the month's City of Yes meeting or whatever.
Well, what CB12 did was they took a Saturday.
Oh,
on the
really?
weekend,
Uh-huh.
and the board came and
Because it's important.
Yeah.
I mean,
Agree.
Hazel, one more person who would be very helpful would be Juton at the Borough President's office. He used to work for the City Planning Department, and he worked with community boards on zoning. So you may want to talk to him as far as the City of Yes. I'm sure the Borough President has him up on everything about the City of Yes also. So he was from City Planning, so he might be a valuable asset.
What's his name?
Juton. I have his email, Hazel. I'll send it to you. I spoke to
Oh.
him a few months ago.
Juton.
Okay, thank you,
I'll send it
Malcolm.
to you. No
Thanks.
problem.
May I speak?
Who is this? Okay,
Okay.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, how you doing? Sorry to hear that you were in an accident or something.
Uh,
I hope you heal quickly. Just a
Thank
couple
you.
of thoughts. I'm a member of the Met Council on Housing, and Housing Justice for All. Actually, I'm missing a General Assembly meeting right now with them. I'm one of the Bronx tenants that it was sort of like an advocacy training and stuff, and people come to me all the time with questions and issues, and I really need to brush up on a lot of stuff myself. But, thoughts I've had is there's a lot of existing housing and stuff. I'm wondering if the City of Yes or anyone is going to address the fact that there's a lot of available housing that's warehoused and being Frankensteined,
Right.
and you understand, and not being fully utilized. It's nice that we're building new things, but if we want to avoid like unnecessary construction and stuff, I mean, is there something we can do to convince landlords or to maybe like force our hand against theirs to make these apartments available and possible storefronts? And then with all the new building, has anyone considered that some of these people might have kids, or they might have kids while they're there? Grandparents are constantly acquiring grandchildren and having to raise them nowadays. I mean, is there any thought going into schools, and things that might be needed for an additional 7,500 people or more
Yeah. that's a
coming
good point.
into a community? It's just a thought on my part.
Can I say something, Hazel? Can I?
Sure.
respond? So
Yeah.
I think, Kay, that's part of the studies that they should be doing, right? Around all of these proposals. And those are also a lot of the questions that we should have prepared, for these meetings, right? That goes in tandem, I think. As far as the warehousing is concerned, I agree with you. That is a huge problem, right? The warehousing and keeping rent stabilized apartments off the market. That's a huge problem, right? But I think that's a separate issue than the one that they're willing to address with this proposal, right? But one of the things that I saw that was really interesting in these proposal was the there is, let me go back to it, a portion here where it talks about office to residential conversions, right?
Yeah.
I think that's interesting. If you,
Well, yeah, yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Rich. Did you
No,
want to
no,
say?
no. I work downtown, and I think a lot of where I work, there's a lot of empty office buildings. So
Yes.
I know in the last year or two, they've been trying to fix the code to get those empty office buildings into residential. So yeah.
Mhm.
something
Yeah,
to-
no, it's some really interesting proposals there, and even like shared housing. So it kind of like I was reading us, and I didn't have a lot of time to look at everything, but it kind of reminded me of some of the housing that they used to have years ago, where they would have like shared kitchens, shared bathrooms. So interesting stuff, but it's something that obviously has to be addressed independently from all the other proposals.
Well, the shared part, I will be a little mindful of that one because
Yeah,
that sounds kind of like a SRO.
thank you.
Yeah, so that's something that we'll definitely have to like put under the microscope for sure.
Families deserve their privacy, private bathroom, private, especially if they're going to be paying, enormous rents. It's, it only benefits the owners and the investors. So,
Mm. Well, lots to consider for sure.
Indeed.
thank
Yeah,
you.
definitely. All right, so if nobody has anything else, I don't know if we can even bring up old business or new business as we don't have a quorum. But we do have a lot of homework to do, and we need to stay on top of this as much as possible. And like Richard said, we have time to do this the right way. So,
Yeah, I would ask whenever we do get the new contact that we jump on setting up a public hearing. So we can get on their schedule or whatever we need to do.
mhm.
Because time flies.
Yeah.
I think that we should get these links on our
Yeah.
Facebook page or social
Mhm.
media pages ASAP.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're right, they need to be emailed to all of the board members, so everybody's on the same page. All right, guys, so I guess if nobody has anything else, I guess we can just call it a night.
Good.
Thank you guys so much for showing up. And I'm sorry we didn't have a quorum. We didn't really have anything to vote on anyway. At least I don't think so. So, but I just wanted to get that information out, and I wanted to have a discussion about it. So I really appreciate all your suggestions, all your ideas, all your information. Christine, thank you for putting up that information for us.
No worries.
All right, so have a good night, everybody. Richard, thanks for showing up. Appreciate it.
Welcome to.
Malcolm too. Thank you, guys.
No problem.
You're the best.
Thanks, guys. Thank Rich.
All right, see you guys.
Thanks, Malcolm.
All
Good night,
right.
everybody.
Guys.
Good
Bye.
night.
Thanks, everyone.
All right.
See.
Good night.
Say, oh, we could do that.